So this is my basic one light setup. As with all one light setups, it's quite flexible, but also quite simple. And it's about how you use the light and how you see the light. And this is one of the crucial things, looking at the light and seeing what the light is doing. So in this setup, the model is standing up, she's away from the background, and we've got an octabox as our main light. Camera's directly in front of her, and underneath, as we can see here, underneath the main light source, so it's directly in front. For the most part, it's how I like to work, but I do make variations. With the James Acaster and the Anthony Horowitz photographs, they're using a different light. They're using a constant light called a redhead, which is an 800 watt tungsten light. So they give a slightly different feel, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. Now, the idea with this, ideally, is if you can get your model as far away from the background as possible, and that way the shadow doesn't fall in the background, and also less light will fall in the background and it'll make the background darker. That is, of course, if that's what you want. And that's another crucial point before you start, having an idea of what you want. Visualize the idea and visualize the final picture. As you can see, the difference if I move my camera in, I've got a zoom lens on this camera. We get one kind of effect. If I use the light and move the light in, sorry, there we go, turn that one off, and I move the light in or around, we can see what happens. Let's move around this way. By moving the light up. This red line just helps us fix the light on the model. So let's take that off there like that. So it just gives us an indication where we're pointing. If we move the light round to the side, bring it back this way, we get a strong heavy shadow, which is not very flattering. It's almost like the Rembrandt light there, but it's not really very flattering on this particular lady. We can move the light even further round to give that really strong side light. Deep shadows, not very flattering at all. So that's not the kind of light I tend to use. Oops. Now, if I bring it around the other side, and depending on where we exactly place that light, we can get her cheekbone standing out, slightly more flattering, but still it's quite high above her. We can bring the light further around and feather it. I would bring the light down for that, and then we'll just bring it. So we're pulling the light much further around now. As you can see where the light is pointing, we can see it's not really pointing at her face. And that's called feathering the light. You can see the top right hand corner on the right here, we get an idea of what the light is happening to the lady's face or our model's face, and you can just see in the top right corner a little bit of the softbox coming in. So I could take it up a little bit to clear it, but feathering the light is a really nice way of using the light, glancing it across the person's face. And then we could also add on the other side, we could add a reflector or a polyboard. That's quite a nice soft light, and as you can see, it's highlighting her cheekbones. So I'll bring it back a bit more direct now. Still a nice soft light, because it's directly, more or less directly into her face, but it's not as strong on her cheekbones. When I move the light directly in front of the camera, take it up a little bit. Oops, wrong one. There we are. Take it up a little bit so we don't see it. We're getting very strong shadows. That's how I work with a one light setup.